You've been under fire with the Republicans in leadership in the Assembly and the Senate for quite a while, but it kind of reached a new height with this Wall Street Journal editorial where it showed that you and Lois Lerner have been in communications through emails that they acquired. They cite a couple of them. The Republicans have jumped on this saying it's clear that you were coordinating with her to investigate Republicans and conservative groups. They cite an email where you two were talking about going out to dinner and then sharing articles about the lack of public campaign financing and amid more private special interest money. Is there something to that, and what's your relationship to Lois Lerner?
Well, I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous that there's anything to any kind of conspiracy. It's guilt by association. Any professional campaign finance administrator has known Lois Lerner because she's been with the Federal Elections Commission and then with the IRS throughout her career. And we paths crossed through professional organizations. We served on a steering committee together. And to suggest that either one of us would handle things unprofessionally with no facts. You know, you see emails that say, let's get together for dinner. Here's something that's going on in my state, but there's nothing in there that says, let's do any kind of targeting of individuals. I don't know what groups she works with. She would have no idea what issues were in front of us. She would only know what's our general jurisdiction and what you read in the paper.
Do you feel like that? I mean, there's been people who've been defending you and the organization saying if those are the best examples they can come up with, it must be pretty thin. And they're saying to draw the conclusion that they're colluding is ridiculous.
Oh, I think you said it better than I have as far as that goes. There's just no substance to those kind of things. And look at what they're coming up with. The fact that you have a professional relationship with someone and that you're going to, that develops over a period of 20+ years, you get to be good friends. She's not the only person that I have professional relationships with. You know, there's election administrators across the country that I'm good friends with, campaign finance administrators, people who work on lobbying. Our paths cross once or twice a year for professional conferences, and you share those kind of professional interchanges, and you learn to respect those people. You learn to admire them for the kind of work they do. I think it's really unfortunate that Lois Lerner has been tainted by Wisconsin.
But it seems like Republican leadership has been looking for ways to at least take on the GAB, and maybe not to this extent now, but to take it on to some degree, because you guys were involved in the John Doe investigation into Governor Walker and his 2012 recall campaign, and also because you refused to release documents to the legislators and to the Legislative Audit Bureau saying that you know, you didn't have to share that information based on the law.
Well, yeah, let's start with that second part. Bear in mind, it's the legislature that's put the cloak of secrecy on us. When I worked for the government, for the State Elections Board, all of our investigations were open. The staff memos, the board debate were open. When they created the Government Accountability Board, they put a cloak of secrecy over this and said, Government Accountability Board members, employees, and contractors, you are subject to prison, or going to jail, or a $10,000 fine if you reveal these things, except in a court of law or when you make a particular finding. And so that's their restraints they put on us. And if they're talking about additional transparency and accountability for the Government Accountability Board, take those off. When they created the board, I suggested in testimony that campaign finance and lobby law, the advice we give, the investigations we conduct ought to be public. People ought to know what they are. But there was more concern that innocent people would be embarrassed or unduly targeted, or that guilty people would somehow evade the law if you didn't have that secrecy. That's a policy decision the legislature make.
And you're recommending that change now, aren't you?
I suggested that, certainly. You know, we are a very transparent, accountable agency when it comes to what we do. You know, you get a daily insight of the lobbying activity in the Capitol by looking at our website and looking at our eye on lobbying activity. The campaign finance reports, the news media has that stuff immediately because we have electronic filing. Elections information, all the training that we do, our rules are well posted, and for that we have been recognized nationally for that. You know, we got an award for our lobby website. The Pew Index on election performance has ranked us in the top 3 for the 2008, 2010, 2012 election, and I imagine we'll fare fairly well for the 2014 election too.
Do you feel the die has been cast at this point, though, that they've made up their mind that they're going to get rid of the GAB, and now with Governor Walker's blessing, that's exactly what they're going to do?
Well, it shouldn't be about the GAB. We should be looking at what are the services that our agency provides to the public and how well have they been delivered. To, target the head of the agency or to target activities that are politically unpalatable, excuse me, is really not a reason to change all the success that this agency has had, and really reflects well on Wisconsin and really puts a lot of confidence in our participants in the process.